I just so happened to get Duolingo Max for the week from the trial, and I have ChatGPT at the same time, so I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to make a video comparing the two. Specifically, the thing that made me want to make this video, or I suppose two things, is one, that Duolingo Max was extremely underwhelming, and two, that Duolingo actually runs off ChatGPT 4. And after using ChatGPT for a few years, I really expected a lot. ChatGPT has never let me down, but let's just say Duolingo surprised me here. Before I even get into the video, I wanted to talk about the price. Duo Max costs double the amount of Plus, and you don't really get double the amount of features at all. It's $170 a year, and you may think $170 might be good, considering it has a bunch of AI features, a bunch being 3. ChatGPT is $240 after all, and Duolingo runs on ChatGPT. However, do not make the mistake of thinking these two will be even remotely similar, or you will be greatly disappointed here. Oh, and what makes it worse is when you go to the Max description, it tells you all the things that it's going to give you, and it doesn't specify that it only gives it to 5 courses out of Duolingo's like 40 courses. It just says, here's the cool things you get on Max. And then when I got it, I go into my Japanese course, and all I have is the video call. Obviously, this isn't really a problem for me because I'm on the free trial. However, I could definitely see somebody buying this and not getting all the features that they were expecting. And some of those features in that list may never come to the other languages. Japanese is the 5th most popular language on Duolingo, and it's been 2 years and it hasn't gotten any other feature except video call. For instance, I really wanted the explain my answer and explain my error button. However, that is not on Japanese. It probably won't ever be on Japanese, sadly. So if Duolingo would be so kind as to have like a box that says this is only for these 5 languages, that would be pretty cool. Also, this is pretty unrelated, but it does kind of fit here, I think. PC always gets the short end of the stick, and I'm not really sure why. For instance, the one feature that I actually do get on the Japanese course, I'm not allowed to do on the computer. However, I do have a microphone, so I feel like I should be able to video call on the computer. It just makes me wonder sometimes why Duolingo purposefully leaves stuff out. It can't be that hard to port it over to the web version. And the same goes for the AI features. I could be wrong about this, but I feel like it shouldn't be that hard to add the AI features to other courses. I would think the AI would be doing most of the work if it's actually the AI doing it, which I do have some speculation that it's not fully AI. By that I mean they're not generated live. I'll talk about it more later, but I'm specifically talking about the explain my answers button. And I did consider that maybe they weren't putting the AI in because they want to keep the quality of the app good. And then I went on Reddit and I saw like 8 posts in a row about crazy mistakes in their courses, where there's like Arabic in the French course. And yeah, it made me kind of think that Duolingo doesn't really care about making mistakes. Rant aside though, the reason I actually made this video was to compare the two. I wanted to compare ChatGPT to Duolingo and recreate some of the features that Duolingo Max offers and see which one can handle it better. And unlike Duolingo, ChatGPT you can prompt it to do whatever you want, so you do get a lot more features. Although some of them are not as clean, as they're obviously not made for the app. Okay, onto the experiments. 最初のテスト. The video call. The one feature that Japanese actually happened to get on the course. Not sure why, it seems to me like the hardest to put in, but maybe not. With this feature, you can video call Lily, or if you're lucky enough, she'll even call you. Either way though, if you get onto a call with her, she'll give you a simple question, and then you can answer it however briefly you want. Then you may have a little back and forth conversation with her if she's feeling gracious, and then at some point Duolingo will kick you out and give you 25 XP. It's kind of a cool feature. I liked it. It switched up the flow a little bit, but it felt kind of underwhelming. I think if I could talk to Eddie or someone that was a little bit more energetic, I think that would be a lot better. However, I do see where they're coming from, because it is supposed to be a simple conversation for a language learner. So I think Lily keeping it brief and uninterested, I guess, might help people. It did get me to speak a little bit more. I don't typically speak in any other language besides English. So I guess this does help with that. It gets you talking a little bit. And I usually skip the talking exercises. However, I haven't really skipped the voice call exercises. If you are higher level though, I would assume this wouldn't be a great feature with her lack of conversation. I would assume if you're actually conversationable, you would want to talk to something that doesn't give you one sentence. But if you are actually conversatable, whatever the word would be, you could probably just go on Discord or any voice thing. But now, if we go over to ChatGPT, we get unlimited time talking, very kind, wholesome responses, and with ChatGPT we can actually have it correct our responses if we want it to. I enjoyed my voice calls with ChatGPT a lot more than with Lily. He's a lot more invested in the conversation, it feels like. You could tell him to talk very briefly if you want him to as well, so he can talk like Lily. but you can also have him just say paragraphs worth of conversation, and he will do that. And then you could give him a 2-word response, and he'll be happy with that. And this being the only feature that the Japanese course gets, and probably for a lot of other languages, this is the only Max feature that they actually got. If you're considering Max for the voice call, I would just say get ChatGPT and spend the extra bit of money, because it is nowhere near worth it to only get Max for this. Tsugi no testo. If you're lucky enough to be learning one of the 5 courses on Duolingo that actually get the full features from Max, then you are very lucky, because you actually get the roleplay feature, which, contrary to some of what I've said earlier in this video, I actually really do like this feature. I've used it a tiny bit. I'm not very good at Portuguese, which is the only language I'm actually learning on Duolingo that has the Max features, but I did enjoy it on there, and I'll probably keep using it on Portuguese for the next 3 days or however long I have Max. Compared to the other features, this one actually feels full. I suppose Explain My Answer feels full as well, but I'll talk about that later. It's just a little too simple. But yeah, you have an extremely large list of roleplay scenarios you can choose from, anywhere from travel to casual conversations. Those are 2 kind of similar categories, but you get the point. After you choose a scenario, you'll be put into the lesson where you will get a brief exposition, I believe that's the word, and then you will talk to your character. It's not only Lily on this one, you can actually talk to any character. Each scenario has its own character, but it's nice being able to talk to a different character besides Lily. So then you'll have the option to respond. You must choose at least 2 words. You can't just say yes, no, which I think is actually pretty good. And besides the 2-word minimum, you actually get a star rating at the end of the roleplay, and the more words you use for each message, you'll actually get a better star rating, which I think is pretty cool, and it does encourage you to stop saying extremely small sentences. And if you need a little bit of help and you're stuck on something, and you really do want to get your 3 stars, or you just want to make your sentence a little bit more vibrant, there is a whole suggestions thing at the bottom where it suggests you relevant words, which I think is pretty cool. And it's actually a good use of the AI compared to some other features. But yeah, this is a really good feature. It's basically the story feature, except you can actually talk to the story and roleplay it. I suppose that's what roleplay means, doesn't it? But it definitely helped me formulate sentences a little bit better than a normal lesson, as I'm actually the one typing it out and I feel invested in the conversation a tiny bit. And I would say because of the little features they added on here, you actually can't recreate this one in ChatGPT. This is the only one out of the 3 features that I would say you can't recreate. So Duolingo will actually be getting a point for this. Great job, Duo. I would go so far as to say this is the only feature worth getting Max for, and it's like a $170 feature. So yeah, that's not very good, is it? And I did say you can't recreate this on ChatGPT. By that I mean you're not going to get the ease of use, and you're not going to get the little suggestion box. But you definitely could recreate every feature in ChatGPT. It's just not going to be as clean. And you are going to have to send messages asking for suggestions, and it might mess up the flow a little bit. So I am still giving the point to Duolingo. But if you do have ChatGPT, it's definitely possible. Oh, and one plus for ChatGPT that I just thought of is you can actually use the voice mode with it. So you could basically combine 2 of Duolingo's features, which since Duolingo actually has both of them already, I think that would be pretty cool to see if you could do the roleplay mode with voice. But yeah, good job Duolingo. You made one good feature. Saigo no testo. Last feature, explain my answer, / explain my error as well, but I don't make errors. This one seems to be the most popular, despite being the most simple out of all of them. And I could definitely see why it's so popular. Just the name of it alone seems like a really good thing to have, like explain my error. Oh, I can learn from my mistake, which brings me into how simple this is. It is so insanely simple, and earlier when I said I don't know if they're all actually using AI, this is specifically what I was talking about here. If you look at these could very easily be pre-generated, and I'm not sure if they're actually generating them on the spot, but I really don't think they are. And in my opinion, I really think these should be in the pro tier, if not the free tier. This feels like something every language learning app should have. I mean, it's so basic. It just gives you a little bit saying, oh, here's the grammar. This is what you may have gotten wrong, or this is why the grammar was right in the sentence you gave. It's such a simple and nice thing to have, and I will kind of miss it going out of Max, but I don't have it on Japanese anyway, which again, why can't that be in Japanese? It's so simple. It should be on every single course in Duolingo. At least like the top 20 courses. Maybe not every course, because there are some that have a very low user count, and it's probably not worth it. But Japanese is the 5th most popular, and it would be great help to have it in there. And originally when I saw explain my answer, I thought I was going to be able to message the AI and say, this is what I thought. And then it would be like, oh, you're right about that. That is how it goes. Or it would say, oh, no, that's not how it goes. Here is actually how you did it, and here's your mistake. But no, it just gives like a little lesson, basically. That's a sentence long, 1 bullet point. And it's good, yeah, but it's not a $170 feature. Just them putting it in the max tier feels like really scammy to me, honestly. And yeah, obviously ChatGPT can do this. I'm not gonna compare it there because I mean, I'll just put on a screenshot on the screen. I could just send it a screenshot and it'll write 4 times as much as Duolingo gave me. It would write me an entire book if I wanted to. I could say, write me a grammar book on this one specific grammar point. Like, sure, here's 8,000 examples. Do you want flashcards too? It's like, yes, please, ChatGPT. I'll take that too. So yeah, include this in Pro or free. This doesn't need to be in Max. It's insulting, honestly, to put this in Max. And it makes me very angry. Duolingo, please stop rage baiting your paid users. Also, if you're making a language app, please include this. Please, I beg of you. It's such a basic feature, and I'm pretty sure it used to be on Duolingo, and I believe they removed it. So all in all, Duolingo Max is garbage, yeah. It's not good. The roleplay tier, like I said, if they lowered the price to like, I don't know, $20 more a year, maybe the roleplay feature would be worth it. But it's not a $170 feature, or I suppose an $80 feature, adding it on to Plus. Yeah, it should be a $20 feature maybe. I think that would be okay. I'm so glad I made this video. I was already like halfway through when I realized ChatGPT was just gonna absolutely stomp Duolingo and it stood no chance. So I just kept making the video. I should have seen this coming pretty easily, I feel like, but I have fallen for the Duolingo marketing and I am a big fan, so I had a lot of faith in it. I really do think just getting ChatGPT would probably be better for most learners. Some streak cell may get mad at me at the thought of possibly stopping their 14 million day streak. Also, I have been comparing this to Duolingo. Obviously, that's what the video was about. But there's so many other things you could do with ChatGPT. It's insanely versatile, which obviously Duolingo doesn't have. That's to be expected. It's a language learning app, not a do everything app. But you can make flashcards with ChatGPT. It'll give you a CSV file and you could throw them straight into Anki, which is pretty cool. If you're struggling with a certain topic, you can just tell it to write you a story for that topic. If you're reading manga or a novel in Japanese or some other language and you're having trouble with it, instead of going and actually writing everything, you can just take a picture with your phone and it'll break down the entire page for you. Also, another really cool thing, I took a picture of one of the books I have. I went into ChatGPT voice mode and I said, read this page aloud for me. And it actually did, it read along. And I thought that was pretty cool because I was able to ask it questions in between and it kept just reading it on. I would say, okay, next sentence, and then it would go straight to the next sentence. So that was actually a really nice feature and I'm probably gonna use that to read somewhat often from now on. But yeah, it is a really crazy tool for learning a language, and after making this video, I will probably be using it more. I actually haven't been utilizing it to its fullest extent for the past few years. Even though I have been using it, I just never applied it to language learning that much. But yeah, thank you for watching. Get ChatGPT. Duolingo sucks. Bye. Matane.